Jane Doe is currently ZZZ's most hard-hitting anomaly character, thanks to her core passive, allowing her to trigger crit on assault. In this video, I'll share 6 team comp suggestions using Jane Doe as your main anomaly DPS. If you're interested in her build or how her kit works, check out the link in the description. Number 1. Jane Doe, Grace, and Seth. This team thrives on shock, assault, and disorder to clear out enemies. To maximize damage, I suggest equipping the team like this. For the Bang Boo, go with Plug Boo or Electro Boo for faster electric anomaly buildup, but Butler is also solid for energy regen. Seth's role is to shred the enemy's anomaly buildup resistance with his enhanced basic attack, while also providing shields and anomaly proficiency for Jane. Grace sets up disorder with shock, and Jane detonates it with assault. Make sure Grace triggers shock before Jane triggers assault to maximize disorder damage. Here's a quick team and skill rotation to give you a rough idea of how this team works. Keep in mind that this rotation assumes you have enough energy for each character's EX special. But in actual combat, things will vary, so use this as a rough guide for the ideal rotation. You can also perform some defensive assist with Seth to trigger his enhanced basic attack more often. Lastly, this rotation aims to max out disorder damage by switching Jane out at 99% anomaly buildup with a switch cancel. You'll need a little practice to execute this reliably, but it would be worth it. Or, you can skip the switch cancels to keep it simple. Just know that the longer it takes to trigger disorder, the less damage it deals. Number 2. Jane Doe, Seth, and Rena. Like before, this team uses disorder through shock and assault. But here, Rena and Seth act as pseudo-anomaly characters to quickly build electric anomaly, serving as disorder setters for Jane. You'll want to gear Seth and Rena with anomaly mastery on their 6th slot disk drive and stack anomaly proficiency stats. Here's a quick suggestion for each character's drive disk set. Plug Boo or Electro Boo are ideal for faster electric anomaly buildup. But Butler or Boorresher are also great since Seth and Rena need energy for their EX specials. The main advantage of this team is that Jane can stay active on the field most of the time while Seth and Rena boost her assault damage. Moreover, Rena's additional ability also extends the duration of shock, which indirectly increases the disorder damage. However, since Seth and Rena use anomaly mastery for their 6th slot, you might occasionally run into energy issues. Also, anomaly attribute damage considers all characters contributing to electric buildup, so shock and disorder damage might be diluted if one character has low anomaly proficiency or overall damage. But this isn't a big deal since Jane will still deliver most of the damage, though it might make substat hunting tougher if you're aiming to min-max. If electric buildup is still low, don't force it. Just switch to Jane to avoid losing DPS. As long as Rena and Seth are buffing Jane, she can stay on the field to trigger assault until her passion state expires. Here's a rough idea for the team and skill rotation. Number 3. Jane Doe, Grace, and Rena. Like the previous teams, this one uses disorder, but with Rena as your primary buffer. You'll miss out on the bonus anomaly buildup and proficiency that Seth provides, but Rena and Grace's additional abilities significantly enhance shock damage. This, in turn, boosts disorder damage. Unlike the Jane, Rena, and Seth team, you don't have to build Rena as a hybrid anomaly character. You just focus on Rena's energy regen for her 6th slot and focus on anomaly proficiency with Grace. This makes drive disc substat hunting easier. Similar to the previous team, I recommend Plug Boo or Electro Boo for faster electric anomaly buildup, or Butler or Boorresher for better energy regeneration. Here's a quick suggestion for each character's drive disc set. For the rotation, just remember to trigger Grace's shock before Jane's assault. Rena, on the other hand, will spend minimal time on the field, mainly popping in with her EX special or basic attack to refresh her buff. Here's a rough idea for the team and skill rotation. Number 4. Jane Doe, Seth, and Piper. Unlike the previous teams, this one centers on triggering assault with Jane as the hyper carry. The idea is to make it easier for Jane to trigger assault using Seth's additional core passive and Piper's Freedom Blues drive disc. The squad also benefits from extra damage through Piper's additional core passive and Seth's swing jazz. As for drive discs, here's what I recommend. For the Bang Boo, go with Bang Volver or Lucky Boo for more anomaly buildup. But Officer Kui is great for better DPS, and Butler is better for energy generation. For the team rotation, the main thing is always prioritizing Jane as the recipient of Seth's buff. Here's a sample to give you a rough idea of the skill and team rotation. Number 5, Jane Doe, Seth, and Lucy. Lucy excels at buffing the team while also providing off-field damage. Load Lucy up with as much attack as possible to maximize the team's attack buff. You won't unlock Lucy's additional core passive skill with this team, but Jane will do most of the team's damage anyway. You can swap Lucy for Rena, but this time focus on her pen and energy regen instead of building her as an anomaly character. Sukaku could also work, but she's better suited for an ice team with Ellen. Jane acts as the main anomaly DPS and hyper carry, taking most of the on-field time while Seth and Lucy support her. Seth's role, on the other hand, remains the same as in previous team comps, focusing his shield and anomaly proficiency buff on Jane. He also helps Jane with anomaly buildup through his additional core passive and Freedom Blues. For the drive disc sets, I recommend setting them up like this. For the team rotation, refresh buffs as needed and use defensive assist with Seth when possible. The rest of the time, Jane should be kept active in the field. Here's a quick team and skill rotation to give you an idea. Number 6, Jane Doe, Chingy, and Lucy. This team boosts Jane's damage through Kingi's stun damage multiplier and Lucy's attack buffs. It offers the highest single hit damage potential, but your DPS might dip outside the stun window. Also, the synergy can feel a bit off, since Jane relies on dodge counters to maintain her passion state. Still, this is the team to use if you're aiming for massive damage screenshots. You can also consider other stunners like Lycaon, Anbi, or Coletta. But remember, you'll lose Jane's additional ability if you swap Kingi out. Though Lucy's additional ability isn't unlocked in this team, she still pairs well with Jane, especially at M6, thanks to her attack buffs and off-field damage. Alternatively, you can use Rena or Sukaku as her replacement. If you don't have Lucy or enough copies of her, Rena is a solid alternative. Sukaku, on the other hand, works better for an ice team, but it could still work if you don't have any other characters on your roster. Here's how I'd suggest setting up their drive discs. I recommend equipping Jane with Fanged Metal, but if you're not triggering Assault quick enough, you can switch to the 4-piece Freedom Blues. For Bang Boos, go with Bang Volver or Lucky Boo for extra Assault anomaly buildup. Butler is also a good option, as the entire team can benefit from occasional energy regen. Officer Kui is another decent choice for boosting DPS, especially if it triggers during the stun window. Here's a rough guide to give you an idea of the team and skill rotation. For more ZZZ guides or other game walkthroughs, hit subscribe and I'll catch you in the next one.